Hey everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Fantasy Sports Review. Before I introduce my guest for tonight, I want to thank Phil Hardis in the studio, directing our show as usual. Phil can't be here, he's doing a great job behind the scenes, so can't wait till the big guy gets back in it. But what a great Week 10 it was. Fantastic games, a lot of breaking it down. Before I get started, I want to introduce a new guest of ours, Ryan Murphy. Ryan, it's great to be here, man. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Definitely. As always, Claire Markowski's here.
Hey guys, it's great to be back, always as well.
So we got a big show tonight. Week 10 matchups, guys. There were some really good games. It started out on Thursday night with the Raiders at Chargers and Carson Palmer getting it done for the black and white. I mean, we talked about San Diego Chargers this year. They're 4-5. Really, don't have an identity on offense. Philip Rivers fumbles snaps, loses games, the whole nine. I think North Turner's done. But guys, what did you see in the Oakland Raiders that made you think this team might be a playoff-worthy team?
Nothing. I would say that would make them a playoff-worthy team, given their recent record. I mean, that's great that Carson Palmer was able to do something, I guess, for once given the two previous games before that. So that's encouraging. I mean, obviously they're putting a lot of hope in him, so hopefully he can come away with something next week.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that, they did a great job defensively. They shut down Vincent Jackson to 20 yards. I think that was great. The rookie had to step up, but, Vincent Jackson, he had, over 200 yards, over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns the previous week, so I think they did a great job by shutting him down.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I really think that Oakland Raiders, they find that character on offense. I mean, Palmer throws for almost 300 yards and 2 TDs. They found a star in Denarius Moore, one of their better wide receivers. This team's built on speed, so let's see if it carries through, throughout the next week. And they have a big game coming up, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Another game in sticking to the AFC West. Tim Tebow's Broncos going to Kansas City and beat the Kansas City Chiefs pretty handily. Guys, what do you think about Tim Tebow?
Tim Tebow, well, definitely the only quarterback I've ever seen that can win a game off of 2 completions. We'll just obviously start with that. Good for him. I mean, these games should be played in black and white given this old school style running offense. But hey, if it's working for him, that's great. I personally think eventually everybody's going to figure it out and they're going to be able to stop it pretty easily.
And the Chiefs are pretty bad, Robbie. Castle's hurt.
Absolutely.
The running back. The defense. They're a team that they're going nowhere fast.
Yeah, they lose their quarterback. They lose their running back for the season. Tyler Palko is going to come in to a very injury-depleted team on offense. Their defense, it's a good defense, but Haley's got the team going in the wrong direction. I totally agree. A big surprise, a big upset, one that we didn't see coming last week, Claire and I, when we did the show, was the Arizona Cardinals traveling into Philadelphia with John Skeleton at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And this guy gets it done not only through the air, but their run game too. I mean, you got a lot of good things that came about in this game. Larry Fitzgerald catches 2 touchdowns, should have been 3. The dream team, guys. What's up with that?
And I said it last week. I think it's the coaching. I absolutely think it's the coaching. With all their players they have, Andy Reid he's clueless. He's clueless. And that goes to, he's an older coach. I think the NFL, we're seeing a lot of young coaches, with the Arizona Cardinals and the Ravens and the Steelers. I just feel like these older coaches, they're not up with the times.
I think everybody in Philadelphia would definitely agree with you. They had a lot of potential this year, and obviously just seeing things that the players are doing right now with Michael Vick and everything like that, they're probably not going to be playing this week. May not be a lot of heart on the team right now, given going through bad times and not really showing up to practices. But at the same time, Andy Reid, I don't think he's going to get the job done. He's been given so many years now, 1 Super Bowl appearance without a victory. I think it's time to get somebody new.
And Ryan was referring to Deshaun Jackson missing that meeting and also killing my fantasy playoff hopes. Thank you, Deshaun Jackson. All right, well, another big game, Steelers at Bengals. Claire, I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to get it done this week. Obviously, they let me down. The redheaded machine and Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, who did catch a fantastic touchdown pass, but didn't injure himself on the play. He will be playing this week. But Pittsburgh Steelers, man, they're rolling with Big Ben. And now he fractures his right thumb.
Thank God they're on a bye.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not his throwing hand, so
it is his throwing hand. It is his throwing hand, but it's not as bad. It's not as bad as people thought.
So, that's good for them. I definitely did not expect that with the way that they kind of had a little bit of a shaky start to the beginning of the season, obviously getting blown out by the Ravens, but they've really come back and shown some promise. And I think they're 3rd or 4th right now in the power rankings, so I think 4th or 5th actually. But regardless, they look good.
And I totally agree. I think this team's rolling. Mendenhall's healthy again. You have great play by your wide receivers. Antonio Brown's starting to step up for them. So it's going to be a tough go-around going into Pittsburgh and trying to beat this team, especially in late December and early January. All right, we're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to talk about a game that, a team in our nation's capital, right in our backyard, the Washington Redskins. I don't like talking about them because I hate wasting my breath with them, but we have to. And guys, I mean, how bad is this team? They're decimated by injuries right now. Their quarterback play is atrocious, and it looks like what we forecasted going into the season, starting 3-1. That was probably the worst thing that's ever happened to this team. I mean, the Redskins losing 20-9 in Miami. Come on.
And another thing too, we have a great defense. But, our stats aren't great anymore because our defense is on the field for 3/4 of the game. Yeah. We go 3 and out every time. I feel like Shanahan's like, all right, defense, you ready to go? No, they're not ready to go because, they're tired. They're not ready to play. And it's sad. But, another year as a Redskins fan.
Absolutely.
I'm not surprised.
That's the truth, absolutely. And I had actually spoken to Brian Mitchell the very beginning of the season, and he was, asking me if, as a Redskins fan, am I actually willing to sit through a rebuilding year and still support the team? And I said I am, and it's hard just to see this punishment. And of course, they start 3-0, get your hopes up, great preseason, great beginning to the season, and then fall apart. But we all know it's a rebuilding year, so hopefully they can switch things up next year.
Every year is a rebuilding.
Every year is a rebuilding year for the last 20 years.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, there's a good little quarterback crop coming out of that class, so that should help them a little bit come draft day. But again, don't want to waste my breath. But anyways, guys, best game of the day. We targeted that game last week, Clara. Saints at Atlanta, a great showdown. Matt Ryan against Drew Brees, a team who Atlanta took out last year in the New Orleans Saints. Saints exacted their revenge and won 26-23 in overtime, but it was a play call in the fourth quarter, 4th and 1. In overtime, 4th and 1. Mike Smith, the head coach, who likes to go for it. They don't get it, and you know what? I mean, the Saints, you knew after that we're going to win the game as the field position. I mean, what did you take from that game, guys?
It's exciting, to say the least, for sure. Definitely the game of the week. By far, 4th and 1s are always going to go either way. The coach is either a genius or an idiot for calling that. And it just ended up not going the way we wanted to.
And both quarterbacks had great games. Mm-hmm. They threw for over 300 yards. They had 2 touchdowns each. It was a good game. And, you can't really, I don't know if it was a good play call because, if they would have gotten it, they would have scored. Everyone would have, praised him. But now, they didn't get it, so everyone's like, oh, why did you do that? So it could go either way.
Yeah, sure. And, Drew Brees, 30-43 passing, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan, 350 yards again. He's thrown for over 350 yards in the last 2 straight games. He's doing really, in a fantasy aspect, doing very, very well. But again, Atlanta coming up with the short end of the stick. And this is a team, guys, they're 5-4 right now. They were 13-3 last season. I don't really see them going up. They're kind of digressing, but that's another show. It's another day. All right, well, hey, let's talk about one of the best teams in the NFC right now. And that's San Francisco 49ers. And let me tell you, this team, Alex Smith, that you watched him play last season as opposed to this season, he looks like Aaron Rodgers, night and day comparison. And it's got to be the coaching. Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback, coached the Stanford Cardinal last year, coached Andrew Luck, who's going to be the first pick of the draft. This guy knows what's going on. And also, they have the best running back in the NFL in Frank Gore.
Absolutely. I don't know if we can really compare Alex Smith to Aaron Rodgers, but I agree with you.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but
with the night and day comparison to the Alex Smith last year is completely different from the Alex Smith this year.
Yeah, you're right. What do you see about this 49ers team? They're 8-1. They beat the New York Giants, who is not exactly a slouch ball club. I can't believe the Niners are 8-1.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. This can't be explained by anything except for coaching, as you said. You're looking at a team last week that was the laughingstock and really has been for quite some time now. An 8-1 record, second in the power rankings. This is a team that is going to go to the playoffs and could be very effective. I really don't think this is a fluke.
I think you're absolutely right. Great defense.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of it has to do. They don't have a great quarterback. He's a lot better last year. But you and I both are not going to draft Alex Smith, in the first, second, or third round. Right. Frank Gore is amazing, but who are the really big time receivers? They really don't have any. I think a lot is just they mesh well together. Their chemistry is just amazing.
I think you're right. And before we get to the news, I want to talk about the Patriots Jets. Patriots win 37-16. The Jets are just going, I think, downhill. They're 5-4 right now. path top that division because the Bills lost. Patriots, I think they're definitely heading in the right direction. I mean, this team, like I said, 6-3 deadly still. And then the Packers on Monday night, guys, 45-7. I mean, Aaron Rodgers does it again, man. 4 touchdown passes. Yeah. We're going to break into the news. We got Juliet Delp waiting right now to break down the injuries of Week 10. So, Juliet, take it away.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Fantasy Sports Review News Center. I'm Juliet Delp with your official NFL news update. Big news out of Philadelphia. Quarterback Michael Vick will not suit up this weekend against the Giants. Vick suffered broken ribs in Sunday's loss to Arizona. With Vick out, expect Vince Young to make his first start this season. Big Ben Roethlisberger has fractured his thumb on his throwing hand. Ben injured his thumb against the Bengals and appears to be ready to play after his bye week. Monitor his status because next week, when this guy is healthy, he is dominated in fantasy. Houston is ready to shelve their quarterback Matt Schaub for the whole entire season. Schaub hurt his right foot and may miss the rest of the year. This is a huge blow to Schaub owners since he had been playing up to his caliber we knew he could play. With that said, monitor Matt Leinart because he could be valuable to your team down the home stretch. More quarterback news. Matt Castle's season is over as well for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not that he was a huge factor, but this is a crushing blow to any chance the Chiefs had to make the playoffs. Broncos running back Knowshon Moreno is out for the year with a torn ACL. This injury proves that Moreno never lived up to his hype of being the next big running back in Denver. With Moreno out, expect Lance Ball to get the bulk of the carries in Denver's new run-happy offense. Wideout Calvin Johnson has passed his concussion test and will play this Sunday. Johnson left the game against the Bears, but all signs point to him playing this week against Carolina. Thank you for joining me in the Fantasy Sports Review News Center. I'm Juliet Delp. Now back to Robbie, Clara, and Ryan in the studio.
Hey, thanks, Juliet. And it's going to really stink if the Eagles can't get Mike Vick back on the field. And Roethlisberger does have a week to regain that strength in his right thumb. So we'll see how that goes and we'll see how that fares. But anyways, guys, let's jump into the best part. The top performers of this week in Week 10, quarterback position. Again, no surprise in Aaron Rodgers leading the way, guys. I mean, he's got 4 touchdown passes. What does he have? 2 interceptions on the season, 3 interceptions on the season, and like 30 touchdown passes. This guy's unbelievable. MVP again, I think.
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, obviously anything can happen. We still got a lot of season left. But if he continues doing anything compared to what he's doing right now for the rest of the season, he better be MVP.
And he's not perfect, but he's pretty close. I'm almost sick of him because he's so good. Mm-hmm. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely he's like a robot. I mean, the guy watching the game on Monday night just picks apart defenses. But what can you say? Coming in second and third. Well, first of all, we got a guy in John Skelton, second-year player from Fordham University, goes into Philadelphia, carves up the secondary after Philly's been playing so well and very well. If it wasn't for Larry Fitzgerald, should have been player of the game in that game. So John Skelton, 3 touchdown passes, throws for 315. I mean, guys, we've never really heard about this guy. I mean, does he supplant Kevin Cobb, the $60 million man in Arizona?
Absolutely. And another thing, too, you have to look at, I mean, Arizona was pretty much dominating the whole game. It might have been close for a part of the game, but Arizona was winning most of the game. So it's not like he had to come back to make up those yards. He threw for him on his own and, led Arizona to victory.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then Tom Brady again against the New York Jets secondary. Picks them apart with Gronkowski leading the way. Wes Welker, kind of a first down machine. But we look at the top 5. I mean, Matt Ryan, again, makes his way into the top 5. A guy that, coming in early on, didn't have that much success, but he's really turned it on as of late. I mean, what do you think Matt Ryan does the rest of the year?
It's really tough to say. I mean, obviously he needs a supporting cast, and right now they're not really seeming to get the job done the way that they should. Obviously he's doing his part, I think, and he has potential to continue to improve, but I guess we'll have to see how the season plays out.
I think, Julio Jones has been awesome with Matt Ryan, and I think he'll continue to play better and better as well.
Yeah, it's tough because you want to feed every guy in that offense, but you got guys like Harry Douglas stepping up, Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White. You say Julio Jones, Michael Turner getting the ball. I mean, there's a lot of guys, a lot of hands in that cookie jar in that offense. It's kind of tough to get everyone on the same page. So yeah, I think Matt Ryan does kind of mesh, later on in the season. But fantasy owners, should have taken note and should have taken a flyer like myself and not drafting him, but I did. Oh well. All right. Well, you guys also got Drew Brees in that. So right at the top 10, you got Carson Palmer, number 9. Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Mark Sanchez, Clara.
My boy Mark Sanchez, and that's another reason, he had to throw for all those yards because they were down so much. I feel like, he had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. It's not, he's, messing up even when he's not throwing the ball. With the timeout that he called right before halftime that led the Patriots to get the field goal, Rex Ryan was so mad about that. It's just, what is he doing? He just cannot seem to get the offense.
Yeah.
That, the Jets can be a great team. They have a great defense. They have great receivers. Their running game's a little shaky, but it's Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, you're right. And then also, like I said, poor coaching staff, or poor coaching on their part. Offense is doing well. But anyways, we'll get to the running backs real fast. Arian Foster again, number 1. Then you see Michael Bush, and then, hey, Chris Johnson, number 3. Chris Johnson makes a comeback finally.
Nobody could question his talent. Obviously, he has the ability to do well. It's just consistency has never been there. So, good for him. That's great. I don't think it's going to be anything that lasts, though.
Okay. I was waiting on an apology for Robbie because last week I believe I did call that his breakout game, and he did have one.
He did, and it was in late fashion for my team, so I think I got tossed out of the playoffs. But oh well. DeMarco Murray again, the rookie at Dallas, making noise in Dallas. He's the number 1 back now. Maurice Jones-Drew again, not a surprise there. Rashard Mendenhall's healthy. LaShawn McCoy's having a great season. And then rounded out with Ben Tate and Matt Forte. Wide receivers, guys, all about Larry Fitzgerald. 2 touchdowns. He's been doing it all season long.
Yeah, the guy's electric, man. He's by far the, I think, most exciting receiver in the game, except for maybe Megatron. But he's fun to watch. He's a great guy. Obviously, he's doing great. So
maybe he'll continue to have more, top leading weeks with Skelton as quarterback.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then your boy Vincent Brown did pretty well. Claire.
Well, yeah, the rookie out of San Diego, from San Diego State. They double covered Vincent Jackson all game last Thursday, which was, perfect game plan for them. And yeah, Vincent Brown, I expect him to be doing big things.
Yeah,
in the next
rookie
coming
too.
weeks.
He's big too. He's got huge hands and runs great routes. All right, guys, we're gonna dip into the weather segment. We got Nikki standing by in the weather. So, Nikki, why don't you give us a scoop on what we were looking for in Week 11?
Hello there, boys. Welcome back to the Fantasy Sports Review Weather Center. I'm a fast machine, I keep my motor clean, and I'm the best damn woman you've ever seen. I'm Nikki Grant, back once again to give all you sports fans an update on the weather for each coming game this week. As the weather cools off across the country, things are heating up in the NFL. Lots of big games this Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, so let's take a look at what conditions these players will be playing in. First up, the Thursday schedule continues with what has turned out to be an exciting matchup. The New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos. Tim Tebow has managed to pull a 3-1 starting record out of his holy hindquarters using his run-first, run-always offense, including a win with a total of only 2 completions last week. It'll be interesting to see if the Jets will be able to stop what has turned out to be a confusingly effective game plan. Partly cloudy in the 50s come game time in Denver on Thursday. Next, the ineffective Jacksonville Jaguars face the equally none too impressive Cleveland Browns on Sunday. This game does not look to be too exciting as neither team seems to be able to find the end zone this year. I would personally pick the Jaguars if the always exciting Maurice Jones-Drew can find a supporting act somewhere within the blue and gold squad. Look for a chance of showers in the mid-50s on Sunday in Cleveland. The Detroit Lions come off of a tough loss last week and will be looking for redemption at redemption against a struggling Carolina Panthers. The Matthew Stafford-led Lions looked horrible last week against the Bears and will need to get their act together this week if they plan to continue their so far impressive playoff run. Cam Newton will need to get his crew to play as a team if they want to defeat the best-looking Detroit team since the Stone Age. These teams will be playing under the safe cover of a dome this week, as will the Tennessee Titans at the Atlanta Falcons, the Oakland Raiders at the Minnesota Vikings, and the Seattle Seahawks at the St. Louis Rams. Next, the overrated Buccaneers step into Cheesehead country to face a crushing against the still undefeated Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers looks to continue to gently give every team he faces the Packers shaft this Sunday as the green and yellow continue to chase history. It's going to be a cold shaft too, cloudy and mid-30s in Wisconsin this weekend. The 5-4 Bills face off against the Miami Dolphins, who are fresh off a 2-game winning streak, which is pretty impressive for a team that ranks from bad to horrible in almost every category. I would count on Buffalo coming away with this one, but wouldn't be too surprised to see the talents of South Beach mix things up a bit. There's a chance of showers in Florida this Sunday, but with highs in the 80s. This will be literally the hottest matchup of the week. And it's Cowboys week here in D.C. All is normal in the nation's capital right now. The government blows, The weather's completely unpredictable, and the Skins suck as bad as ever. No surprises to be seen. The Steers and Queers pulled out an impressive win last week against the Bills and look to do the same in a discouraged and depressed FedEx Field come 1 o'clock on Sunday. Who knows which quarterback will start for Washington, and quite frankly, who cares? This has basically turned into an extended preseason for the 2012 schedule, so you might want to keep your fantasy picks focused elsewhere. Mild temps in the 60s with a chance of showers here in D.C. 2 6-3 games face off in B-More this week. The Bengals versus the Raging Ravens. Flacco and the Purple and Black are undefeated at home and hope to advance that record as Andy Dalton and the Cats look to make up for a tough loss last week versus the Steelers. Things may get slippery for both teams with a chance of showers in Baltimore and temps in the upper 50s. The less than stellar Arizona Cardinals come into San Fran ready to face a new generation dynasty team in the 49ers. Alex Smith has turned out to be a surprising team leader and plans to de-wing the Cards in Candlestick this Sunday. It's been a long time since the bitchy Queens of San Francisco had anything this straight to squeal about, and I'd say we're all feeling a little giddy as the boys in gold continue to raise their proverbial flags. Mid-40s and rainy in the city of Sourdough this week. The disappointing Chargers step into Chi-Town this Sunday to fight for once good news Bears. Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, and Devin Hester all look to raise their stock in the Windy City in their 4 p.m. face-off. And Phillip Rivers looks to let them as the Chargers are heading nowhere fast. Cool temps and clouds look to make this a long day for some sad San Diego fans with highs only reaching the 40s. Our last Sunday game is an NFC East showdown with the Philadelphia Beagles limping into New York to get beat once again by the Giants. Deshaun Jackson is out of Sunday's game, and Michael Vick looks to be the same. Not looking too good for Andy Reid and his dream team. Really? Is this how low they've sunk? I'm not a Philly fan, but good Lord, this is almost too hard to watch. Almost. Rainy and 60s in New York come game time. Lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs head into the Northeast for a Monday night showdown against the New England Patriots. Tom Brady's beautiful mug avoided a 3-loss streak last week and hopes to start a winning streak at home again. The less than confident Chiefs. Matt Castle has let his team fall to a 4-5 record and hopes to get back to even against a Patriots team that isn't known for having much sympathy for crappy teams with losing records. There's a chance of snow this weekend in Foxborough with highs only reaching the 30s at Gillette Stadium. And that's it for me this week. Thanks for joining me. Your presence has made me moist with excitement. Christmas is coming up fast. Want to get me a present in exchange for my affection? Let's chat. Hit me up at nikki@fantasyreview.com. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you very soon. Thanks for joining me here in the Fantasy Sports Review Weather Center, fellas. Now back to Phil and Robbie in the studio. Bye.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nikki. Appreciate the weather. It's going to be a soggy one, but we'll be drying the studio, so we have nothing to lose. All right, guys. Week 11's coming up. This is a big one. Some great games, huge matchups. We're going to start with Dallas at Washington. What can you say? The Redskins are on a 5-game losing streak, and Dallas kind of hitting their stride. Winners of the last 2. Guys, Dallas at Washington. Who do you like in this?
Absolutely. Absolutely Dallas.
No, you said Washington.
DeMarco Murray is going to run all over the Redskins. Tony Romo's going to throw all over the Redskins. And like Nikki said, who cares who's going to start for the Redskins because we're not going to get the job done.
Yeah, this is a very different Dallas team that we're facing now as opposed to the beginning of the season. They're on a roll. They're looking, unfortunately, really sharp. They had a huge game last week. Tony Romo looked amazing. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be the same this week.
Well, I'm going to go against you guys. I like the Washington Redskins in this game.
You're kidding.
I think they're going to win. I'm not kidding. They're going to pull it out.
Sarcasm.
No. I'm absolutely serious.
Joking.
And
Joking.
when I come back on next episode, I want you guys to praise me. Get down on your knees and bow to me because I call this game.
Seriously, if the Skins win, I will get down and bow.
Bow?
Are we going to
And
make a bet?
I think we'll make a little $10 wager.
make a bet?
about it.
$10
$10 wager.
All right, $10 wager. You got it. Not a
I'm
problem.
not even giving you odds, too.
Thank
I know
God.
my favorite. All right, guys.
Chick-fil-A,
moving
here
right along. Moving right along. Cincinnati at Baltimore. Huge marquee matchup. Division rivalry game. Going into Baltimore is a tough place to play. I like Baltimore in this game, guys.
I know you do. I like Cincinnati. After Baltimore lost to the Seattle, they beat Pittsburgh, but then they lost to Jaguars. They almost lost to Arizona. I don't like Joe Flacco. I don't like him.
It's a hit or miss year, but Ravens are undefeated at home right now. I'm thinking it's probably going to stay the same.
I think you're absolutely right. So I guess we all agree on that. You like Cincinnati. Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Kind of tough to pick against Green Bay right now. They might go undefeated. Green Bay, heavy favorite in this game. I like them.
Absolutely. There's no way I would ever pick Tampa Bay over Green Bay this year.
Green Bay's
but
absolutely
yeah,
gonna win.
absolutely Green Bay.
All right, you're absolutely right too. And our last two games, Tennessee and Atlanta. The Tennessee Titans going into Atlanta, invading the Atlanta Dome. I like Tennessee in this game. I don't know why. I like Chris Johnson in a dome.
Interesting.
I do.
I had Carolina beating Tennessee last week. They didn't. They crushed Carolina, but